Good morning, everyone. As we begin, I acknowledge with respect the Onondaga Nation, firekeepers of the Haudenosaunee, the indigenous people on whose ancestral lands Syracuse University now stands. Welcome to Syracuse University and this exciting day for Syracuse Athletics. I'm Jeff Stecker, Chief Communications Officer. What a great day this is going to be. To start this morning, you're going to be hearing from Chancellor Kent Syverud. That will be followed by remarks from our Director of Athletics, John Wildhack. Then you'll be hearing from legendary coach Jim Boeheim. And then finally, John will welcome Coach Adrian Autry to share his thoughts. Following those remarks, we are going to have some time for a couple of questions for Coach Autry and John Wildhack. So let's get started. I would like to welcome to the podium the 12th Chancellor and President of Syracuse University, Kent Syverud.
Good morning. Thank you, everybody, for being here. This is a historic day for Syracuse University, and it's such a momentous occasion for our men's basketball program. It has been exactly 47 years since Syracuse University has had a transition of its head men's basketball coach. It's the end of an amazing era that has helped define not only Syracuse athletics, but this whole university and this whole region. Today is also the start of a really exciting future for this vital program. Today, the torch is being officially passed. It's being passed from one of the winningest coaches of all time and from an upstater who has been incredibly loyal to this program and this university in good times and in bad. It's being passed to another alum who bleeds orange, who played for the Orange, and who has dedicated much of his professional life to the Orange. For nearly 6 decades, Jim Boeheim has devoted his life to his alma mater. Few people can say these days that they began and finished their career at one place, and even fewer can claim to have had the transformative effect and success that we celebrate today. Jim is the winningest coach in Syracuse University history. Given the realities of college athletics today, it is highly unlikely there ever will be another person at Syracuse or at any other school who will replicate Jim's achievements, which are on the wall behind me in part. I am deeply grateful to Jim and to his family for all they've done through the ups and downs of all these years. And I am pleased to know that John Wildhack and Jim and I are going to be working together in the future for the good of the program and this university. You'll be hearing from Jim in a moment. But first, I want to congratulate Adrian Autry on this exciting next chapter in his coaching career. I have watched many men's and women's Syracuse University basketball games for the last 50 years, and I am thrilled and optimistic as we all see what Coach Autry is going to do leading this program. And I say that because Adrian already has been a driving force in the success of the men's basketball program here. Now, head coach Autry represents the future. His love of the Orange brought him back to Syracuse in 2011, but it is his character and his experience and his talent and his passion for the game that explain why he is our next head coach. Congratulations, Adrian. Thank you for doing this, and go Orange.
Thank you, Chancellor. I would now like to welcome Director of Athletics, John Wildhack, to the podium.
Thank you, Jeff. Thank you, Chancellor. And Chancellor, thank you for your commitment and support to not only this program, but to Syracuse University Athletics, one of our biggest fans, and for supporting every single one of our 600 student athletes. Thank you. Good morning and welcome, everyone. As the Chancellor shared, we're here today to celebrate two great men, two great Orange ambassadors, two great alumni, and two Orange legends. Coach Boeheim, congratulations on a remarkable career. I'm going to share a little story. As Coach Boeheim, like you, I started my time at Syracuse as a student. In fact, I interviewed you for a television show I was producing for one of my classes in Newhouse. And I remember that day like it was yesterday. You made it very clear that I had 10 minutes of your time and not 1 second more. I was very careful to stay within that time frame. When I was done, you looked at me and you said, "Stay for practice and interview any player you want." I stayed for practice. I interviewed a number of players. I got an A in that class, so thank you. As a student, I witnessed firsthand your building of a basketball powerhouse. We couldn't wait to get to Manly on game day and be part of the Manly Zoo. For so many of us alums, you're one of the reasons that we chose Syracuse. The camaraderie you and this program have created, the spirit and the pride felt when we packed Manly and now the Dome, and the level of greatness and success that you've achieved. It's all nothing short of extraordinary. And speaking of extraordinary, let's talk some numbers. 35 NCAA appearances, 5 Final Fours, 2003 national champion, 20 Sweet 16 appearances, 20 Sweet 16 appearances. Second winningest coach of all time. But it's not only what you did here at Syracuse for the sport. You represented our country with USA Basketball. The staff you served on won 3 consecutive gold medals. In total, you reconstructed USA Basketball. And of course, your enshrinement in the Naismith Hall of Fame in 2005, introduced fittingly by your teammate and fellow Hall of Famer, Dave Bing. Perhaps your greatest accomplishment is the hundreds of young men you led and you mentored, and the reverence they have for you. We saw it on full display last weekend when we celebrated the 2003 National Championship team, and the tributes pouring in from former players over the past 48 hours. What you've done for the game of basketball at Syracuse University is remarkable, but even more impressive is what you've done for Central New York and our community. You're a philanthropist, ambassador, and advocate of this community. The Jim and Julie Boeheim Foundation has transformed countless lives. Because of your and Julie's philanthropy and generosity, so many people have received the care, support, opportunity that they needed to thrive. But of all your accomplishments, I think we know what you're most proud of, being a great father and a loving husband. Julie, Jimmy, Jamie, Buddy, and Elizabeth, they're your all-time starting 5. For the past 6.5 years, I've had the pleasure of working with you. I've witnessed firsthand your dedication to our men's basketball program, our university, and our community. As the Chancellor said, I'm excited to work with you and to work with the Chancellor going forward. We will work together with our colleagues to provide the best experience for every single Syracuse University student-athlete. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in a round of applause for Coach Jim Boeheim.
Thank you. Thank you. The only reason I got a standing ovation from the press is because they're all standing up. You know, there's a few things to clarify and get right. I'm thankful for the Chancellor and for John Wildhack's support, unwavering support over these last few years, which have had good, but they've also had some not great moments. After coaching my sons last year, I felt that I should coach this group right over here of young players. The Chancellor and John agreed. For most of this year, I really didn't think about retirement, which is true of every year. I think some people have had me being retired about 10 different times, but I thought about it this year, and obviously when we hit the stretch that we hit, where I didn't coach very good, we didn't play very good, we lost those 4 games, I felt that this was the time. Last Friday, I talked to John about this. It was unfortunate that the press conference had to be in the middle of that, and we hadn't had a chance to meet. John, the Chancellor, and I, he's got a lot harder job than I've got. So we really didn't have a solution. So what I said was all I could say, and people took that like they always do, as me not talking or the university not. We had nothing to say other than this has to be worked out. We met for 45 minutes yesterday afternoon. Everything was worked out. Most everything, not quite, but most everything. The basics. I will work with John. I will work with the Chancellor. I'm so thrilled to be at this university and continue. I wouldn't know what else to do anyway. I want to thank all the players, especially these guys who were here with it this year. I've had an unbelievable group of players and coaches over these 47 years. I'm not going to name them all. Mostly, I'd like to thank my family, Elizabeth, my very first, and life-changing daughter. My 2 sons, Jimmy and Buddy, who gave me one of my most rewarding seasons ever last year. And Sissy, who is here with us tonight and is the only one who's won 3 championships. Which she does bring up from time to time. But none of these last 26 years would have been possible without Julie, who has been the best wife a coach could ever have. I'm all right. And she is taking care of our family and our basketball family, making it possible for me to do this job. My staff and coaches have been incredible during these last 2 years, which have obviously been difficult. Al, G-Mac, and Adrian have been great coaches. They are great coaches, all 3. Todd, Pete, Jill, and Kelly have been incredible in the office. And never forget Dan Swirls. I want to get gear next year. Most schools don't have a plan. 99 out of 100 do not have a plan. John Wildhack had a plan. The university had a plan. And I was a part of that plan. And that plan is now in place. And I'm thrilled. I'm thrilled to be retired. I've felt better the last 2 days than I've felt in 47 years. Adrian Autry. I've known Adrian Autry since he was 16 years old. He had 30 in New York City against Kenny Anderson. And I said, that's a guy we got to get to come to Syracuse. A few years ago, we needed to get him to come back. He came back, and he's a great coach. I think someone said that Adrian should get an older mentor to help him coach. Adrian Autry does not need an older mentor to help him coach. He can coach. He's not here as a recruiter or a player. He's here as a coach. And he knows how to coach. And he's got a couple of assistants that both are good enough to be head coaches. There will be no problem coaching going forward. None. My wife told me not to put that in there. I don't listen to everything. When I was 17 years old, I came to Syracuse, right next door. It was a dirt floor practice field for football. Syracuse had lost 29 straight games in basketball, not football. I never left this school. I'm now 78 years old. And I'm probably most happy that I will never leave here. I'll never leave Syracuse. And I'll never leave Syracuse University. There's been a lot said about they haven't treated me right. That's not true. None of that is true. I would like to thank one group most of all. Cliff Winters hired me 47 years ago right over there. It was 5 people, 2 didn't want me. It was 2-2 really, and Cliff was luckily the chairman. And I told him I was going to Rochester, and he says, "No, you're not." It's a story that's been told a little bit, but not a lot. He says, "You're going to coach here." And I said, "Yes, I am." He says, "We're giving you 3 years." I said, "I need 4. I just wanted to make sure I could get 4. I didn't think anything about 47. There's one group, 2 groups I have to talk about. Our fans, I didn't think it would happen. They fooled me. They came in the weather, they came in the winter, they walked across campus. It didn't matter if it was 0. Now if it's 0, the media tells you not to go to the grocery store. They came to the games. 31,000 people, 0, -10 wind chill, 6 feet of snow on the ground. They came to the games. That's what Syracuse basketball is. It's not me. It won't be Adrian. It's not it's the fans. They made our program. And I'd like to say one last thing about the media as I speak to you for the very last time. So good, so glad. I love most of the media. In fact, almost all of it. I've had 2 people cover me for longer than they wanted to, Don and Mike. We never agree. Well, that's an exaggeration. We don't agree, but we keep talking. And you know what? Channel 3 had my press conferences on last night, and that's a funny son of a gun. Me. I never watched one of those press conferences. I'll miss everybody. But most of all, I'll miss those guys and these coaches. But Syracuse basketball is being left in the best of hands. They won't need me. I'll be here every day in my little office someplace. But I was going to leave 61 years ago. I was going to go home. My mother said no. I said, these guys are too good for me. Dave Bang just scored 30 straight points against me. And she said, what about the other guys? And I said, well, maybe. She said, well, then all right, you'll be all right. I can't tell you the love I have for Syracuse University and Syracuse. when I picked Syracuse as the place I wanted to live a long time ago with Rick Pitino and our wives, and they picked Paris, Bermuda, and California, I picked Syracuse. They all walked away. Guess what? I'm still here. Thank you.
Thank you, Coach. We just heard from the man who is the architect of Syracuse basketball in this program. Next, we're going to hear from the man who will build on that incredible history and will boldly lead this program into the future, Coach Adrian Autry. In my time at Syracuse, I've had the pleasure of getting to know Adrian and watch him teach and mentor our young men. And I state with full confidence, as Coach Boeheim did, that Adrian is very well prepared to lead this program. Among the many things that impresses me about Adrian is how hard he's worked at his progression and in his profession. High school coach, AAU coach, director of basketball operations at Virginia Tech, assistant coach at Virginia Tech, assistant coach at Syracuse, and since 2017, associate head coach here. Adrian's depth and breadth of experience, coaching, inspiring young men have made him a great mentor and a terrific recruiter. At Syracuse, he's recruited players for all of our positions. He's worked tirelessly, coaching our forwards. He's mentored some of Syracuse's most talented young alums. Jeremy Grant is having a remarkable NBA career. Tyler Ennis, Tyler Lydon, C.J. Farr, and O'Shea Brissett, just to name a few. He understands player development, nurtures the whole student athlete, and teaches them the emotional intelligence and physical skills needed to be successful at an ACC level and at a national level. His success in recruiting is marked by his deep ties to Washington, D.C., Maryland, and Virginia. Adrian is extraordinarily well respected in the college basketball arena. The dozens of people I've spoken to over the years have all spoke glowingly of Adrian. He also understands the culture of our program, our department, our university, and this community. He may come across at times as a little laid back, but let me tell you, he is a fierce and intense competitor. And last, he's learned from one of the best, Coach Boeheim. Adrian, along with Jerry McNamara and Alan Griffin, have formed one of the best staffs in the sport, period. All three are here not because they're alums. They're here because they're outstanding coaches. Adrian has the vision and the strategy to successfully and boldly lead our program into the future. And our future is bright. Adrian has earned this opportunity, and he deserves this opportunity. Like Coach Boeheim, Adrian is devoted to family. Congratulations to his wife, Andrea, children, Adrian Jr., Aliyah, Trey, and Nina. Today we begin the next era of Syracuse basketball. And I ask Orange students, alumni, and fans around the world to fully support Coach Autry, his staff, and our student athletes. And let's start showing that support right now and officially welcome to the podium for the first time the eighth head coach, Syracuse University basketball history, Coach Adrian Autry. a little something for you. You get one side.
Thank you, John, for that kind introduction. I am truly honored and humbled to stand up here as the next head coach of Syracuse University men's basketball program. There are so many people I want to acknowledge, of course. I know I will miss someone, so please accept my apologies now. First and foremost, I would like to give thanks to God for blessing me with an amazing opportunity. I would like to thank Chancellor Kent Severud, the Board of Trustees, John Wildhack, for putting trust in me to lead this Syracuse basketball program into the future. I want to thank Coach Boeheim. "33 years ago, I arrived at Syracuse University as a young man from Harlem, New York. I always say that I was the easiest McDonald's All-American you ever had to recruit. From day one, Coach took me in under his wing as a player and most recently as a coach. It has been an honor to play and coach for you. You and Julie have opened your home and embraced me and my family as your own. There's no doubt that you have created and will leave a legacy of greatness. Your contribution to the Syracuse basketball program, the university, and the city of Syracuse is one to be admired and celebrated. Thank you. Thank you to the former players that are here today, Jim Lee, Dennis, and for all the others who have texted and gave me phone calls. To Jerry, Alan, Pete, and the rest of the staff, thank you for your friendship, partnership, and support. I'm excited to begin this next chapter with you all. To our current student athletes, throughout the recruiting process, I know you all always heard about Syracuse as a family, and we take care of our own. Today is a testament to that. As I stand up here as a former player, proud alum, and now your next head coach, I'm excited for the future and what we're going to do together. To the fans that make up Orange Nation, the ones who fill up the seats in the Loud House, the ones who cheered me on as a player, the ones who support this program whether we're winning or losing, thank you. Representing you makes the Orange, thank you. Representing the Orange is special because of you. There's nowhere else in America like the Dome. I would like to thank Coach Greenberg for giving me my first college coaching job. And to my inner circle of friends, thank you for your support. Finally, and most importantly, my family. My wife, Andrea, love you. My children, Aaliyah, Adrian, Trey, and Nina, all over here today, thank you for your support, for allowing me the freedom to sometimes miss birthdays, anniversaries, and sporting events, all in the name of basketball. You have been with me for every step of the way. You keep me grounded, and you support me in so many ways. When I think about what attracted me and drew me to Syracuse as a player, I think about its history, the rich tradition, and what I refer to as the Orange Standard that was set by Coach Boeheim. The Orange Standard is the history of winning, the history of playing hard and competing for championships, the history of resilience, determination, and grit, As I take over this program as the head coach, it is these standards that will guide us into the future. I am a new voice, a new face with new ideas, but the standards that have helped build this program will not change. So I thank you all for being here today. I thank everyone who has bled orange for decades, those who are new to the Orange family, and those who will join us in the future. Today is an exciting day. I'm going to enjoy this moment with my family, and then tomorrow we will get to work. Thank you, and go Orange.
Thank you, Coach. So we do have a few minutes for some questions for either Coach Autry or John Wildhack. We do have some microphones off to the side around the media. If you're asking a question, we ask that you please stand, identify your name, and what media outlet you represent. So we'll proceed with the first question. Donna, did I see your hand up?
Nobody else is volunteering, Adrian, so I'm going to hop in there. So you mentioned your staff. Can you talk a little bit about Jerry and about Alan and about anybody else you might be considering to fill the rest of that staff?
Yes, I'm very fortunate, like Coach said before. You know, I have an amazing staff. Jerry and Alan, great coaches, great minds. As it comes to building the staff, we're going to take our time. We have some other things right now to take care of, but you know, I'm confident, I'm excited, and very fortunate and lucky to have them with me. So, you know, I'm not going to rush into anything, but you know, we'll get there when we need to.
Gotcha. By the way, congratulations.
Thank you, Don.
Chris.
Congratulations, Adrian. John, you know, I guess, why did the release not mention retirement and include a quote from Jim?
I think what we did with the release is Coach said we've had a plan in place and he had that last Friday. And there are twists and turns to ultimately where you get to, but we got to the right end. Coach Boeheim is going to be with us. Coach Autry is our head coach. We've executed the plan. Any plan that you do, there's some twists and turns to it. But what's most important is the outcome. Chris, we have the right outcome.
Can you explain, I guess, a couple of the ideas for what his role might be moving forward?
He and I are going to meet next week to figure that out. But you know, it's public. We have a $150 million capital campaign for athletics. Hint, hint. Also, just one of the things that we've done that I'm really proud of in the past 12, 18 months is our coaches helping coaches in terms of recruiting. And I really love that. I think we're developing our culture that way. And I think there's unquestionably Coach Boeheim can help our other programs. He's the biggest lacrosse fan there is. You may not know that. That is his favorite sport. He's also at every home football game. So there's a variety of things. So we're going to put him to work, I guarantee you that.
Brent, yeah.
Adrian, I think I speak for everybody when want to know we go in zone or man-to-man.
You know, we'll be versatile. You know, I'm going to do whatever it takes for us to win the game. That's the main goal, is to win the game. So whatever that may be, you know, that's what we'll play.
Mike.
Red, have you had a chance to talk to the players yet and discern their plans to stay or go? Or
Yes, Mike, I have talked to the players. You see they over there right now. But yes, we've had conversations. As you know, we just finished up our season. So we typically, speak to our guys before they take off. We give them a break, and then, we get back and we'll finish up those discussions as we later go on. But yes, I'm talking to those guys. Anybody miss class today? All right. Yes.
Jesse?
Coach, first of all, congratulations. We had a chance the last couple of days to talk to many of Coach Boeheim's former players, people who have gotten to know you over the years. They've all given you glowing reviews. To know that you already have, won over the minds of some of the alumni, how much easier will that make these first couple of weeks as you transition into this role and hit the recruiting trail and, put your name and put your stamp on this program?
It's important. It builds into when we talk about, the family. And Coach has built a huge family, and Syracuse has built a huge family. And I think, I like to call it the Army, not Otto's Army, but the Orange Army. And that's important, especially when you head out and you go on recruiting trails. It's Orange people, it's Orange fans all over the place. When I go on the road recruiting, I have people come up to me all the time. So I'm excited that they like me right now. And, I'll try to use that to my advantage as much as I can for right now.
I'm sorry, green sweater. I apologize.
Sydney Staples here. You mentioned that you are a new coach, or necessarily you're a new coach with new ideas. What would you say is your vision for the program moving forward?
We want to be versatile on both ends of the floor. We want to be aggressive. We want to get up and down. We want to be, just being able to adapt. And I think that's, for right now, that's kind of where we're starting at. And as we go, we'll adapt to the personnel and what we have. But for right now, the one thing that, we want to do is we definitely want to play in some space and pace and get up and down.
Tommy.
Coach, first, congratulations. This question is for John as well. John, I know you mentioned getting to the right outcome and that you got to the right outcome, but what was it that specifically created that sense of urgency on Wednesday, and would you have liked to have seen it happen maybe a little bit differently?
Yeah, I think Wednesday is Coach Boeheim met with the team back at the hotel post game, informed the team of his decision, and that's coaches do that. They oftentimes they have team meetings after a game, and it was obviously a really, really tough loss. And once we knew that information, I thought it was important that we provide clarity, clarity to our fans, clarity to our team in terms of the vision, going ahead for this program. I thought that was important.
Steve.
Adrian, congratulations. You played for Coach Boeheim. You've worked with him now for the last dozen years or so. What has he taught you about what it means to be a head coach? What have you taken from him about what this new role is going to be for you?
It's a lot of things. I think the biggest thing that sticks out to me from Coach is never lowering your standards for your team and your players, and the consistency. Those are the two things that stick out to me the most. And coming in and going after it every day.
Yes.
John, this question's for you. How long has this plan for Coach Autry to take over been in place, and why was no statement from Boeheim in the press release?
Again, I think we needed to get the statement out, as I said earlier, to provide as much clarity as we possible. Coach and I met before the release went out. I showed him the release in my room. We talked after it went out. The narrative. There's no friction. We've had a lot of conversations over the years, and they've been good, constructive conversations. And part of that, he helped build this plan. I would be crazy not to ask for his input and take his input seriously. And this plan has come to fruition, over the past couple of months. And again, we've arrived at it here today. And today's a really good day because we honor Coach Boeheim, and he's going to be with us. He's going to be with the university with this program. And we also introduce Coach Autry. And we start the next era of Syracuse basketball. So today's a really good day.
Yes, Liv, hand the mic to the gentleman next to you.
Coach, congratulations. Mark Frank, the AP. Obviously, the landscape of college basketball has changed in recent years with NIL and the transfer portal. Can you talk about your philosophy about how aggressive you may or may not be pursuing athletes in the transfer portal?
I mean, that's something that is, like you said, has changed. We'll always look at our team. Always look at how we can get better, whether that's a high school player or even at the transfer portal. Those are decisions that we make year after year once the season is over with, and assess everything and see, who we have on our roster, what our roster looks like. But, transfer portal is a great way, as you see now, to get other players to better your team. And obviously, we'll use it when we need to.
Chris.
Continuity hires have been very common lately among strong programs. Syracuse is maybe in a little different place in terms of its peak going with a continuity hire. Did you consider a national search, and why not, if not?
Chris, I mean, since I've arrived here, one of the things I've always done is talk to people I respect in the industry, coaches, former coaches, other people really connected. Who's a good coach? Who's an up-and-comer coach? So this is not something that I arrived at. Recently. A lot of studying over the years. Many of the coaches that I've had on lists over the years have progressed and gone on to other programs. So this is, Adrian, as I said earlier in my remarks, Adrian earned this. Adrian's not here because he's an alum, because he played here, because he's associate head coach here. He's here because I believe he's the best candidate to lead this program and to sustain the success that Coach Boeheim has established over 47 years.
Yes, in the middle.
Coach Autry, congratulations. What do you feel the biggest challenge is for you as you walk in right from the get-go?
I don't really see them right now. We don't have any games to be played right now, but I'm sure it will be some. But I think the biggest thing for me right now is just trying to obviously get out. This is a time that we can get out and be seen with the transition, being more visible, I think, and being more visible. And then when these guys get back on campus, building what we want to build going into the future. So, but for right now, I don't really see any big challenges. Again, I've been here. I've been a part of this. So I'm very comfortable and very familiar and understand what needs to happen going forward.
Yes, in the middle there. Yes.
Coach Autry, given that basically your whole roster still has eligibility remaining, what's your message to them to get them to stick with you rather than choose to go elsewhere or go pro or the other opportunities they may have?
I think when you look at this year, and you break it down, we had a ton of close games that we lost, and some of that was due to inexperience. We talked about that going into the season. This is a young team. And I think if we can get all these guys to come back, I think we can really, really put ourselves in a place to be very, very successful next year. I think we want that. I think they want that. We were very disappointed in the outcome of this season, but I think with everybody having eligibility come back, I think that's a big plus that if they did come back, that we can really do some things and get back to, winning and being where we want to be at. So that's what I talk to these guys about. I think it's a great opportunity, and so we'll see how it plays out.
Brent, last question.
John, I just wanted to clarify. Can you just tell us about the moment this got set in motion? Was it Jim coming to you? Was it that meeting you mentioned there? And do we classify this as a retirement? Is that the official term to put on it?
I think Coach said it, so I'm going to defer to what Coach just said to you a few minutes ago in front of everybody. This is a plan that's been in place for quite a while in terms of the transition and identifying what the right transition is for the program. So this is not something that, is recent. This is something we've talked about. We've had really good conversations and, going back, multiple years. So, again, this is where we've arrived at. I think it's a great day because we celebrate Coach Boeheim, and we should. And by the way, for our fans, we will celebrate Coach Boeheim in a big way, okay? In a really big way. He may not like it, but I'll call Julie and she'll make him do it. And we'll have 35,000 people for that game. We will do it. You thought last week was fun? Wait till you see what we do for Coach Boeheim.
All right, thank you, John, and thank you, everybody. One last time, let's thank Coach Boeheim and welcome Coach Autry.